Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum everyone. My name is Ruban. I'm a foundation student at Hans Muslim Park campus. I am here to talk Maya on the topic of hello topic of her. So let's start our topic with saying always saying a Bismillah. So let's start our topic. Hello Maya.
Hey, Ruva. What's going on with you tonight?
Okay, here I have a question on the topic of hurry up. Let's start our topic with first question.
Got it. I think you mean hurry, not Korea or hurry-up. Sounds like you've really prepared a lot. What's your first question about hurrying?
Why do we always say hurry up when we are late?
Good question. A lot of it has to do with feeling stressed when we're behind schedule. Saying hurry up is like trying to make up for lost time and get everything done faster so we don't miss deadlines or appointments. It creates a sense of urgency that pushes us to move more quickly, even if it's not always the most effective way to handle things.
Okay,
What made you think about this question?
my next question. What happens when you rush too much?
Sorry, could you repeat that? The audio quality, it got a little fuzzy there. What were you asking about when you rush too much? Not
Yep.
rest, but rush.
Yes, tell me answer.
Okay. When you rush too much, your body actually releases cortisol. That's a stress hormone. Over time, constantly being in that stress state can wear you down and make you feel burned out. It also makes you more likely to make mistakes because your mind isn't focused when you're rushing around.
Okay, my next question. Is
Go
hurrying
for it.
always necessary in life?
That's a really good question to think about. No, hurrying isn't always necessary. A lot of the time we rush because we feel like we have to, but it's actually our perception of urgency or just a habit. Constantly rushing can actually make us less efficient, and it definitely increases the chance of mistakes.
Okay, my next question. How does hurry affect decision? Okay. How does hurry affect decision making?
Rushing actually messes with your decision-making process. When you're in hurry mode, your brain doesn't have time to think things through carefully, so you end up going with the first option that comes to mind instead of the best one. Studies show that rushing increases impulsive and careless decision-making. Does this ring true from your experience?
Okay, my next question. Why do people hate waiting?
I think I might not have heard that question clearly. Did you mean wedding or something else entirely? Can you say that again?
Okay, I will say it again. Why do people hate waiting?
Got it. Waiting can be really frustrating because it feels like a loss of control. We're used to having things happen on our timeline, and when we have to wait, it feels like wasted time. Plus, our brains are wired to seek out novelty and progress. Waiting feels stagnant. Does that make sense?
Can hurry. Okay.
I'm not sure I
Can
caught that. Could you finish your thought? What
can
about hurry? Are you
can
asking about?
can rushing improve productivity?
Oh, interesting question. Yes, rushing can actually temporarily boost productivity in some situations, like when you really need to get something done quickly. But the key is temporary. When you rush consistently, that short-term boost comes at the cost of making mistakes and feeling more stressed in the long run.
Okay. My next question. Why do students often hurry before exam?
That's a really common one. Students often hurry before exams because they're anxious about whether they've studied enough or if they'll run out of time during the test. It's a mix of pressure to perform well and fear of failing, but all that rushing actually makes them more stressed and can sometimes make it harder to recall information during the exam itself, ironically making things worse rather than better.
Okay, okay. My next question: Does hurry
What's your next one?
does hurry increase stress?
Absolutely. Hurrying is a major stress trigger. Your body basically goes into fight or flight mode, releasing hormones like cortisol and adrenaline. Short bursts can be okay, but constant stress wears you down and can cause all kinds of health problems. So, yeah, hurrying and stress go hand in hand. It's a vicious cycle.
It is it better to be fast or accurate?
That's a really good question. In most situations, being accurate is far better than being fast. Sure, speed is nice sometimes, but if you're rushing and making mistakes, you usually end up having to fix those mistakes later, which takes even longer. Accuracy means doing things right the first time and saving yourself time and frustration in the long run. What do you think?
Yep, yep. Okay, my next question. Why do parents always say hurry up?
Parents say hurry up a lot for a couple of reasons. Sometimes it's because they're stressed and trying to get everyone out the door on time, but a lot of times it's because they're actually trying to teach you important time management skills, like being responsible and respecting others' time. Of course, it doesn't always feel that way when you're being rushed, though, right?
Okay. My next question. How can we avoid last minute rush?
That's the $1 million question. The biggest thing is planning ahead. If you break down big tasks into smaller steps and schedule them in advance, you're much less likely to end up scrambling at the last minute. And setting realistic timelines helps too. Don't underestimate how long things actually take. Does that make sense?
My next question. What happens when you miss something because of hurry?
When you miss something because of hurrying, it's usually a bummer on multiple levels. Not only do you miss whatever it was, like an appointment or an important detail, but you also feel extra stressed and guilty about it. And honestly, the feeling of missing out can actually be worse than the thing you missed itself sometimes.
Okay, okay. My next question is ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
Can hurry lead to mistakes?
Definitely. Hurrying actually makes you way more likely to make mistakes. When you rush, your brain doesn't have time to focus properly and double check things, so you end up skipping steps or overlooking details.
Okay.
Basically, trading accuracy for speed. And usually, speed isn't worth the errors you end up having to fix later.
Okay, my next question. How does hurry affect health?
That's a big one. Chronic hurrying isn't good for your health. Long term, it can lead to things like high blood pressure, heart problems, digestive issues, and even weaken your immune system. Stress from constant rushing also messes with your sleep and can lead to burnout. It's definitely not something you want to make a habit. But you actually didn't.
Okay, my next question. Is slow and steady better than fast and rushed?
Definitely. Slow and steady wins the race for a reason. Being consistent and pacing yourself is way more sustainable than pushing yourself too hard and burning out. When you go slow and steady, you learn more, make fewer mistakes, and you actually enjoy the process more. What do you think about that?
How can technology make people more rushed?
Sorry, I didn't catch that clearly. You were asking how technology can help people rest more?
Yep.
Oh, right. It's actually quite a few ways. Think about apps for meditation or sleep sounds, and things like blue light filters can help at night. Even apps that help you manage your to-do list and set boundaries can free up mental space so you don't feel so rushed all the time.
Okay, my next question. Can hurry ever be positive?
You mean, can hurrying ever be positive? Actually, yes. Sometimes, like in emergencies where quick action can be crucial. But that's the exception, not the rule. The problem is when rushing becomes the default way we live every day. That's when it's harmful.
Okay, my next question. How can planning reduce hurry?
Planning is the single biggest way. When you take the time to map out your day or week, breaking down tasks into smaller steps, you feel way less panicked. Because you're not just reacting to things as they come up, you're in control. And you know exactly what you need to do when. Good planning turns
Okay, my
chaos.
next question. Why do we rush in traffic?
Traffic is a big one. A lot of it comes down to our brain thinking, the faster I get there, the less time I lose. But studies actually show that speeding really doesn't save you that much time. Meanwhile, being in a rush makes you more stressed and actually increases your chance of getting into an accident. It's like our brain is lying to us about the time savings.
Okay, it's right answer. My next question. Why do people rush on exam day?
You actually already touched on this earlier. It's a mix of anxiety and the pressure to perform. People worry about running out of time or forgetting things, so they rush through questions instead of carefully reading them. Ironically, rushing actually leads to more mistakes on exams, but it's hard to slow down when you're panicked.
Okay, my next question. Why do we rush in traffic?
I think we actually already talked about that one too. Most of us feel like speeding will get us there faster, but studies show it doesn't really save much time and makes us way more stressed and increases risk of accidents. Your question is pretty perceptive. You already nailed the answer last time.
Okay, my next question. What are common signs of being in a hurry?
Good question. You notice things like constantly checking the clock, feeling frustrated easily, rushing through tasks without really paying attention, making snap decisions instead of thinking things through, maybe even feeling physically tense. It's like your body is on edge all the time because you feel like you're behind schedule.
Okay, my next
Take your
question
time,
is.
Ruvad.
Okay, my next question is life becoming more rushed today?
That's a really interesting question, and honestly, it seems like it. Everything is faster paced now. Our jobs, social media, even just everyday life. There's this constant pressure to do more, move faster, and be always on. It's like technology was supposed to save us time, but it's actually made us feel even more rushed somehow. Done. Are
Okay,
you asking if something is finished?
all right. My next question, how does hurry affect creativity?
Ah, that's a smart question. Hurrying actually stifles creativity. When you're rushed, your brain goes into focus on the urgent mode, not the explore and imagine mode that creativity needs.
Okay,
Ironically, the more pressure we feel to be creative, the harder it becomes because we're so caught up in hitting deadlines or achieving outcomes
okay,
instead of just
my next
letting our ideas.
question. Yeah, continue.
Sorry, what was your question? I think the audio got
My
a bit
next
garbled
question,
there. Could you repeat?
how does hurry affect sleep pattern?
That's a really important connection. Hurrying is the enemy of good sleep. When you're constantly rushing, your mind keeps racing even when you try to wind down. That stress and tension makes it harder to fall asleep and stay asleep, which then just creates this whole cycle of feeling more rushed because you're tired.
Okay, my next question, why do deadline case panic?
Good question. Deadlines create panic because they make us feel a loss of control. Suddenly, time isn't flexible anymore. We have a specific date to hit, and the pressure of that deadline triggers our fight or flight response.
Okay, my next
Plus, we often oh, okay, my gosh.
You continue your answer. Continue.
I'm not sure I understand. I think I missed some of that.
Okay, my next question. What is the cost of always being in a hurry?
The cost of constantly rushing is actually really high. In the short term, you make more mistakes, feel stressed and overwhelmed. But long term, it can lead to chronic health problems, burnout, strained relationships, and even just a less fulfilling life where you're always chasing instead of actually enjoying them. Okay, countdown.
Okay,
What was that for?
all
All
right.
right, what's next?
My next question. Why do students
I'm ready.
cram at the last minute of exam and our festival?
Ah, I think you meant cram. Students cram at the last minute before exams because they procrastinate studying and then panic when the deadline gets close. It's like they think they can condense all the material into a short amount of time, but research shows cramming is actually one of the least effective study methods. What's made you think about this?
Okay, my next question. Does hurry always mean effectively?
No, not at all, in fact. Rushing actually makes you less effective most of the time. When you hurry, you're more likely to make mistakes, forget things, and feel stressed. Slowing down and focusing actually leads to better results in the long run. It's kind of counterintuitive. Going slower can get you there faster overall.
Okay, my next question. Why do we feel pressure to hurry?
That's a really good one. A lot of it comes from societal expectations. We're told that being busy is a sign of importance. There's this pressure to constantly produce, achieve, and fill every moment. Plus, modern technology and always on communication make us feel like we should be available 24/7. And honestly, we sometimes put that pressure on ourselves too, setting unrealistic expectations that push us to hurry.
Okay, my next question. Can slow step still lead to successes?
Absolutely. Slow and steady still wins the race. In fact, consistent, measured progress is the most reliable path to long term success. It might not feel exciting or dramatic, but taking small steps consistently builds skills, strengthens habits, and leads to real lasting results. People who are constantly hustling and burning out often crash eventually. Consistency beats intensity every time.
Okay. My next question. Why is time management important to avoid hurry?
Time management is key to escaping that rushed feeling. When you know exactly what you need to do and block out specific times for it, you're not scrambling at the last minute to catch up. Good time management creates structure, gives you breathing room, and reduces that sense of urgency that makes you rush around. Does
Okay, my
that make sense?
okay, my last question. What is the best way to live without constant hurry?
That's a great question to end on. The best way to live without constant hurry is probably to embrace mindful living. That means being present, prioritizing what truly matters, setting realistic goals, and downtime just like you schedule work tasks. It's also about letting go of perfectionism and learning to say no to things that